What are you talking about, bro? I hear Drake being like whining over there.
Well, we live, so you better stop whining, stop bitching, stop doing
Bro,
all that
I'm
shit
not
you're
laughing
doing.
about. I'm not bitching about it. You playing Drake and shit, man. We're from Jersey. Turn that shit the fuck off, man. With some Joe Butter or some shit, right? I mean that's definitely classic Jersey shit. You know what I'm
Pump,
saying? Or like
pump, pump, pump,
some Albial. Shout out Albial. Nah, nah.
pump it up.
Yeah. Yo, man. So I'm over here watching Guido Cannetti, and this dude's a ninja, legit. You know that nickname definitely fits. I just seen him leg kick the shit out of one guy, made him rethink his whole career in that one kick, and then knocked him the fuck out. So I'm gonna start off by saying Guido's a bad motherfucker. But besides that, we'll get to him in a little while.
I was gonna say
Um,
you want to start off and just let people know what we're actually here to talk about. We're here to talk about
yeah,
UFC Chile.
yep. Sorry about that. I just got carried away. That was amazing what I just saw. But yeah, we are here to talk about UFC Chile. My name is Jiu Jitsu Drew, or Bad Motherfucker, or I'm just the man. You know what I'm saying? I'm over here with social media Steve. How you doing today, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to. I just finished the solo pod. Let me tell everybody what we just did. So
Oh,
we're,
tell
we're
them what
breaking
happened with
up.
your solo pod, man.
Yeah, that's
So
what I'm gonna
so
tell them. So we're breaking this up every card into three pods. All right, trying to keep it somewhat manageable in terms of time. We're already talking way too much shit right now. But the first two pods were good. They were like 15 minutes. Went over three fights. Went over four fights. But the second pod, what I usually do is screen share what I have on my screen so you can see the stats and everything for the fights. Unfortunately, I hit the button and it never went over.
way
So
to
it's
go,
basically
pal.
just me looking at all my notes. You know what I mean? Like I basically do screen share so that you guys don't see me going through all my notes. This is all my notes. One page for each fight. So whatever, you're gonna see me basically just reading off of my notes and everything. But at least you know I'm prepared. There's proof that I'm prepared. So fuck it, Drew. Let's do this. All right, you ready?
I'm ready, brother.
First,
I'm right behind you.
we're doing the main card here. So Drew and I are doing the main card. We got Vicente Luque. Drew just found out he's actually from Westwood, New Jersey. That's where he's living and training. Surprised you haven't crossed paths with him on in your training. You've never Serato MMA.
No, no. Honestly, I've never. I mean, that's probably. I mean, Westwood, New Jersey. That's probably down in the parts that I don't even hang out. I mean, I probably honestly didn't even know Westwood existed. I'm from North Jersey, pretty much all my life. Union City, born and raised. Well, so I can't really tell you, anything about that. But Vincent Luque, watching him fight, I can tell you a little bit about him. He's 12-6-1. Really, really good striker. Really, really tough. And honestly, if I had to pick between him and Chad Laprise, it's gonna be pretty tough because Luque is the type of badass that he's called out Darren Till, and if you're gonna call out Darren Till right out of a win or just flat out just call out Darren Till, you got to be a little bit nuts and a little bit of a badass. So that says a little bit about him to me. He's from the U.S., of course, just like you mentioned, and a lot of his stats, he's pretty accurate. He lands a lot of significant strikes. His grappling, his takedown defense is pretty good. But from what I've seen in most of his tapes, he likes to keep it on the feet. So I expect him to go for broke pretty much. What do you think? What do you think, Steve?
I mean, I'll let you know what I think. What do you think about Laprise? You said it was a tough pick. What do you think about Laprise before I get into it? He's
Well,
actually 6-2. I'll just give you a couple stats real quick. I don't know if you did the breakdown because he switched. He was 6-2 in the UFC, but he's 3-0 at 170.
yeah, I was actually looking at that now. In his last eight fights, he's 6-2. He's Canadian, which he's Canadian A, so he's a fucking badass. Those Canadians definitely like to throw down. He's been in the cage with I think it was with the Ultimate Fighter, and he beat another fellow Canadian. Off the top of my head, I can't. I have his face right here, but I can't remember his name. But regardless, if just looking at Chad Laprise's tape, he's really, really well rounded. His wrestling is awesome. His technique is flawless. He's vicious with his hands, and he can pretty much beat you up pretty much I mean, in any situation, from what I see, there wasn't one thing that he did well. He pretty much did everything well. But again, this is from the way that both of these styles match up. This is going to be probably like a like a first round knockout or like early second round knockout. But someone's going to take a dirt nap. That's for sure.
If I had to ask you, what do you think the line is set after this fight? Just because I know you don't really look at lines, you just do your tape studies. So if you had to look at the line, I think you're going to be shocked by the line. But what do you think this line is at? Who do you think is favorite?
Who do I think is favorite? In my opinion, I'd say Laprise.
By right on that? Big favorite? Small favorite? Minus 120, minus 150, minus 200.
Probably minus 200.
That's it. All right. So you ready for this?
I mean, because based off technique alone, like I like to, base a fighter literally off their technique and how they look striking and head movement. And out of the two, Vince is a badass, looks pretty good. But the one who looks more fluid in his fighting and everything that he does pretty much overall is Laprise. So that's the reason why I would say that, he's more of a favorite in this fight, in my opinion. Again, I didn't look at the line. I'm not really a huge gambler in that sense. I'm starting to pick it up from you, of course, because last week you fucking demolished a lot of my picks. But still, hey, I'm here. I'm here to put up a fight every week. So please enlighten me, Steve.
All right, so let me ask you, is your official pick Laprise before I give you all this information? I don't want you flip-flopping on me.
Oh, wow, you're about to – what? I mean, just the way you said that –
I'm about to drop it.
I mean, just the way you said that makes me think you're about to pick Luque, obviously. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Laprise.
Okay, Laprise, first round, second round, what do you got?
I'm going Laprise second round.
Second, all right, because, again, for anyone who maybe didn't watch last week or did watch last week and is watching this week, I take all of our picks and I put them up on the YouTube site. So they will be in the article under the YouTube write-up. I put our picks. So Luque grew up in Brazil. He now trains out of Westwood, as you mentioned before. He's fought some very good guys in Leon Edwards and Nico Price. A lot of people don't like Nico Price. I kind of do like Nico Price. But Leon Edwards is legit. He's the one who actually called out Darren Till also. Wanted to fight him in Liverpool. Luque came out and took the center of the octagon against Leon Edwards, which I was in shock. So when I saw that on film, I don't remember watching that, but Luque is a well-rounded kickboxer. He does gas against Leon Edwards, which is a concern. A lot of people on Twitter have put up that concern. I personally think my official pick is going to be Luque second round. So I'll write that down and put that on the pod later. So Luque in the second round. I think he's going to get Laprise out of there. And again, not for nothing, but Laprise, the guys he fought, I don't think are the best. And I did watch the entire Bufando fight, and Bufando floored him before Laprise was able to get him out of there. I think it was in the first or second round he submitted him. So he's a good striker, but I think Luque is better everywhere. Timely takedowns. My only concern, he's got a 4.5-inch reach advantage. My only concern is if he gasses, if it gets into the third round. But personally, I think he's going to be up 2 rounds anyway by the time it gets there. More or less the same size, and Luque is actually 5 years younger.
Well, I'm actually counting on Luque gassing the fuck out, and completely honest with you, because he brings it so much in the first opening seconds of every fight from what I've seen, that if he doesn't pretty much finish Laprise in the first round, and Laprise is able to withstand anything that Luque got towards him, that's why I always pick for the second round. Because, these fights can literally end in a blink of an eye. We've both seen it. But with this fight specifically, these guys are both tough, so I expect good chins on both of them. But I feel like Laprise is going to outlast Luque and get the dub. So book it.
So personally, Luque right now on Draftkings is 8.8K. I actually think he's a good play for cash, and I think you can throw him in GPPs. I personally don't think Laprise is a play that I'm going to play anywhere. But again, if you believe what Drew is saying right now, and he's going to get a first or second round finish, then obviously at 7.4K, you got to play him on DraftKings. But I'm going to stay away from Laprise. I kind of like Luque. But that's just my take on it. And I think this is a fight that can finish. There's going to be a lot of decisions on this card, I believe, but I think this is a fight that can finish. But let's get to our next fight here. We spent way too much time on that one.
Hey, bro. Everyone doubted me last week on McKenzie, bro.
No,
Everyone
yeah, you're
doubted me
right.
last week on McKenzie, and I picked that fucking round and exactly how she was gonna win. I don't know if y'all remember that, man. I can't even tell you what minute or what pod that was on, but I literally said it, second round by rear naked choke. I think there's even an article out there floating. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh,
I don't even
there's
know.
definitely something floating. There's definitely something floating. Yo, we got 5 more fights, man. We gotta move on this.
Yo, my bad. Go ahead, bro.
All right, you
Oh
ready? So
shit. Yeah.
that the next fight is Andrea KGB Lee. I don't know if she's dropping the KGB. You know, Russians are not doing
They're
too well in this
they're
country.
weird. Oh, she's Russian. That definitely explains why her robotic ass fighting stance and all that. How she just tucks her chin and looks like she just eats bombs every time she walks straight. Man, it's crazy.
Well, let me
But go
even put
ahead.
it this way. She's fighting Veronica Macedo, I believe is how you say her name. We've been going back and forth on Twitter with this. I
I
think you've
saw
seen
that.
some of
I
my
saw that.
comments. I've watched a lot. I'm gonna start it off and then I'll throw it to you. All right. I've watched a lot of film on these two fighters. Veronica has a whole bunch of film and breakdown film and all this other stuff. She actually is the one that has a UFC fight.
Yeah.
Andrea Lee fought a bunch of times in Invicta. She's actually the Invicta 125 champ. So again, I think she's coming over here to try to get that belt. I would assume at some point from Valentina whenever she's able to basically fight Nico Montagna. But take it for what it is. I think this should be a toss-up fight. All right. The line is way off. I don't know if you know the line, so I'm not going to
What's the
mention
line?
it yet.
What's the line? What's the line?
Andrea Lee is like minus 275, minus 315, something like that.
Holy fuck! And what's Macedo?
She's like plus 230. I think the last time
Oh
that's what I have written
man!
down, but I don't know. It seems like a lot of these lines are getting wider.
Whoa!
But
Money, 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 money.
again, unless there's something going on with Veronica Macedo that I haven't seen anywhere, she's a brown belt in karate, she's a brown belt in BJJ, and she's a black belt in Taekwondo.
Oh shit!
If
Explains all
you
the point fighting style that I was seeing, all that shit.
okay, so if you watched her fight, she has some legit kicks that like I just don't see from anybody else.
She'll knock your fucking block off.
And that's how I feel about this fight. I feel like this is a fight that she could finish Andrea Lee. Like Andrea Lee, you go into a camp and you're looking to spar with somebody that fights similar to your opponent, right? I mean, that's more or less what you're looking to do. There's nobody that you're gonna find that's gonna fight like Veronica Macedo. It just isn't gonna happen. So again, you have someone who's very unique. She's 5'4". She's not gonna have the reach advantage with her strikes, but she will have the reach advantage because she can get her legs up in the air, up at your head level, and often. So again, it only takes one shot to drop you, and I think she can just get on her and use that BJJ. And again, if she's not hugging, what happens from there, bro.
Well, I obviously already see where you're heading with this play, and I kind of already see why it would be the good play. I mean, she's plus a shitload of money, so it'd be an awesome play on DraftKings, and if you want to make a little buck, and because honestly, between the two, Andrea Lee, I didn't see any stats on her. The KGB name probably fits her well because she's probably hiding all of her stats and all the shit she does from us. That's what the Russians do apparently. But she looks like a kickboxer, tough. Her head kicks are pretty legit. But if we're talking about Veronica Macedo, though, she's not only speedy, she's not only dynamic, meaning she can literally hit you with a roundhouse kick, then spin 360 in the air and slap you with a heel kick. With a heel kick, and then finish off with an axe kick, all in the same combo. And this is a mark of a very, very, very good Taekwondo practitioner. I myself, when I was younger, did a little Taekwondo, never got to black belt level, but kicking wise and the style of fighting that you have to do is point fighting. So you don't really throw a lot of power behind these kicks, but they are very, very accurate, which is what I see in Veronica's game. She's a straight up killer, and she's very, very accurate. You can see in a lot of her kicks. I mean, besides the fact that she is a smoke show, Jesus Lord, Thank you for creating such a human being. But what I'm saying is that literally in all of her kicks, she's dead on. She does not miss. Even if it's not something that'll knock you out, she's gonna touch you. She's gonna hit you. She's gonna make sure that you feel her. And she's gonna be everywhere with it. It's not just gonna be one kick here and another one. It'll be 2 kicks, 3 kicks. Then she'll step back. And honestly, the only thing I got going for Andrea Lee is that she seems like she's the bigger fighter. She seems like she's just the bigger between the two. She obviously has the reach, but in her style, she's not as dynamic as Veronica. So if you're gonna ask me where my money's going, it's definitely going on Veronica. I have nothing else to say, but thank God she's alive.
Yeah, I think it's a dog or pass in terms of the betting world. I think it's a dog or pass, and I'm going to be honest with you, as a DraftKings player, I'm going to go with Macedo probably in all my cash lineups this week. I really do like her. I'm a little concerned because the one loss she had in the UFC, she took the fight on 2.5 week notice versus Ashley Evans Smith at 135 pounds. She got knocked out in the 3rd round. All right, it was late in the 3rd round. But again, you're talking about someone who wasn't looking for a fight. She just happened to be living in Germany at the time, and the card was in Germany, so that's why she fought on that card. She was a short notice replacement.
And this is Veronica?
This is Veronica. In her one trip to the UFC, and she's 0-1 in the UFC. Drew, she was 20 years old. 20 years old when she took that fight on 2.5 week notice. She weighed in, I believe, at like 137. She was a little overweight. She's fighting here at 125, coming off a full camp. Now, the only concern I have is that she was injured at some point. I'm not really sure what the injury was. She was booked for a fight, was pulled out of a fight. She may have been booked for 2. It's a little misleading when you look on UFC.com. But she made her debut at 20 years old. How do you think that girl's gonna do going at 20 years old, fighting basically a year and a half later? She's now 22 years old. She has all this experience with karate, BJJ, Taekwondo. And if you watch the Ashley Evans Smith fight, she hits her with a kick. You were just talking about the kick being accurate. She hits her with a kick. I don't know if it's a liver kick or not. It kind of looked like it was like mid-stomach, but she stopped her in her tracks. And you could just see on Ashley Evans Smith's face, if she would have followed up on that kick, she may have got her out of there in that 1st round. And again, it's her first time in the UFC, first time. I watched an interview today where she basically like took 5 hours to drive to Germany, got off at the wrong exit, got lost, was almost late. Like, and then you expect this girl to, on 2.5 week notice, come in and beat somebody who's been training, had a full 8-9 week training camp. That just isn't going to happen, especially, at 20 years old. That's crazy. But you mean to tell me that the improvements this girl has made isn't significant? I mean, I think this should be more or less a toss-up fight. I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but I think this should be a toss-up fight. I watched Andrea Lee. The one thing I can tell you about Andrea Lee, you said she was a kickboxer before. She's aggressive. So if you're talking about a point fighter, to me, Andrea Lee is a point fighter because she doesn't really hurt anybody. And again, she's susceptible to the takedown. When she fought Liz Tracy, she was taken down a ton of times by a tough, shorter wrestler. I don't know if Macedo is going to try to take her down. She doesn't really have much wrestling in her background, but she does have BJJ. And again, it starts in the feet. They try to get you down to the ground. So my pick's going to be Veronica Macedo. I'm going to play her in DraftKings. I may sprinkle a little. It's a dog or pass situation. Picking for the week, I may have to. If I'm playing pick'em, I may go with Andrea Lee. But you know what? I really do like Macedo in all situations.
Wow, you're a savage, man. I mean, honestly, you almost had me convinced entirely, and then you said if I'm playing pick'em, you're gonna pick Andrea Lee. That's just that.
You know what it is? It's the safe pick.
Why would it be the safe pick? Because you think Andrea Lee is just more of a powerful puncher, meaning she can get it. I mean, she has more of a chance of getting the one punch knockout, is what you're saying?
No. I think she's going to be able, because of her pressure, early aggressive pressure. I think that Andrea Lee is going to be able to point fight just like Macedo is able to point fight. So now it really becomes who does more damage, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to. The number of strikes, but then the damage within those strikes.
You see, but here is where Macedo gets her, right? Because Andrea Lee is so aggressive And because of the style of a Taekwondo fighter, if you've ever watched a Taekwondo fighter, number one, they fight with their hands down. They're dropped. At UFC is different. She has to fight with her hands up. She's gotten better with that, hopefully, so she doesn't get knocked the fuck out. But here's another thing. Taekwondo fighters, especially really, really good ones, they're experts at countering. Because when you fight in a Taekwondo tournament, for instance, I know this from experience, everything from your points and all your points that you're going to get are coming from counters. You're waiting for the one moment that you have that little reaction so you could do a spinning back kick and hit him for a point, or a spinning heel kick, or an axe kick. But all of that doesn't come without reacting first. And it's not you making the first move. And sometimes it is you making the first move. So as far as aggression, I mean, Veronica Macedo might be just as aggressive, but I do expect her to be a little bit calm and wait for Andrea to press the issue and watch her. And in my opinion, dude, if this isn't finished in the first round, I mean, I hate to sound like what are you going to pick every fight in the second round? But I mean, dude, just for fuck's sake, I'll say it right now. This one probably ends in the first round with Andrea Lee rushing in to try to knock this girl out, and she hits her with a spinning fucking back kick right on the jaw. Or if not, or literally just something right to the noggin. But mark my words, just like I picked Mackenzie Dern last week to win by rear naked choke, and she did, I picked Veronica Macedo to react to Andrea Lee rushing in, trying to knock her out, or trying to be aggressive with her leg kicks, or whatever it is, and she's going to catch a really, really nice kick to the head and not even see it coming. So, book it.
Well, listen, it's official, buddy. You're going first round. I'm going second round.
Let's do it.
I mean, I agree with you. I think that's what's going to happen. And the one thing too about KGB Lee, when she comes in, she closes distance, and a lot of times, if you see on film, she puts her hands out. She goes out like this to come around with a combination. You do
Which
that.
Is exactly what I'm talking about. She's going to catch a nice spinning heel kick.
Listen, that's what I saw on film, so we're going to see what happens. But we're both going with the big upset there. We're going to have to sprinkle something on that later on, though.
Oh, yeah.
Sprinkle something on that one. All right, next fight. We got Guido Cannetti. Your boy Guido.
Guido's a fucking killer, bro.
And Diego Rivas. Well, you just watched film. Go ahead. You kick this off since you just saw Cannetti. He's 38 years old now. Rivas, 26 years old. Big difference in age. Reach is more or less the same. So what do you think? What do you think about these guys?
Well, now hearing Guido's age makes sense why I'm looking at these videos and they're all grainy and look like they were recorded in the 90s in a basement or some shit. But
kind of like this podcast, but whatever, bro.
Yeah, but it's all right, bro. We're working for better funding soon. But anyway, Guido the Ninja Cannetti is a fucking savage. He's experienced, obviously. He's definitely been in the cage more than once. What were his stats again? What was his reach in this? I know Diego is the younger of the two.
Their reach is within an inch, so it should be negligible. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, in my opinion, Guido's gonna come out here be aggressive as all fuck. Because from what I've seen in most of his fights, he really is the one that pushes the pressure. He tries to literally break you with each strike. Like the videotape that I was watching right before we started the cast. The fight ends literally within under a minute. He gives the guy one leg kicks that makes the guy rethink his whole life, and then finishes him off with a hook that literally sends him into the hospital. And I mean, in every fight after that I watched, he's just as aggressive. Against Henry Briones, he was just as aggressive, pushed the pace there. And I honestly, just from that, and then watching Diego Rivas, I'm going with Guido. I'm gonna make this quick. I'm going with the fucking ninja. Book it.
You know what? I'm gonna go the complete opposite way. I'm gonna go with Rivas.
You like the wrestlers, man. You like the wrestlers.
I really do like the wrestlers. I also think that Rivas is a counter puncher, and I think that the problem with Cannetti is maybe it's because of his kickboxing background or whatever it is, but I just feel like, don't get me wrong, his kicks are hard, they're low, but he also keeps his hands low, and I think
that's
that
the Muay Thai.
Rivas,
That's the Muay Thai.
Yeah, and I just think that Rivas is going to be able to counter strike, and he's got a real strong right hand, and just kind of fire that hard punch. Cannetti kind of drops his hands, throws hard punches from his hips. But the minute you drop your hands, if you read that and come right through the middle, I mean, I think Cannetti, is leaving himself open for a big shot. He did switch to Team Alpha Male for his last fight. Looked pretty good in that last fight versus Kang. Very aggressive in the first 3 minutes. And honestly, I thought he was winning the fight, but then he got caught in a sub. So again, he's 1-2 in the UFC. He has one decision win and he has 2 submission losses. I don't think Rivas is a guy that's really going to get you with those, losses. But I mean, he's a with those subs. But I mean, he's a tough fighter. He's a strong fighter, well-rounded, and I think he's better. Plus, he's from Chile. Rivas is from Chile.
So you think the hometown hero comes through?
I think so. I think he's going to have a big backing there. We saw that last week at Brazil. A lot of the Brazilians came through, and I think he's going to come through too. And when it comes to Draftkings, Rivas is 8.6K. Cannetti is 7.6K. I don't hate Cannetti on DraftKings, but I do like Rivas a little bit more. It's a home game for him, and I think that's going to be real dangerous. And again, I know you're not a huge bettor, but this is actually priced pretty closely. Rivas is minus 155, Cannetti's plus 135. So if you really like Cannetti, you can make some money. What's your official pick? Cannetti in what round?
Cannetti swoops in like a ninja that he is, with his weird ass tattoo on his nipple, and knocks out what's his name? Diego Rivas. What round? Because Diego Rivas, which shout out to him, he's a cancer survivor. That's a tough motherfucker. I don't think he's gonna get put down in the first. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'll say he gets knocked the fuck out in the second. Diego, you're the man. Chile is gonna root for you and all that extra shit, but my man Guido, the Ninja Cannetti, is gonna put you in a body bag. So on to the next one, Steve. What's your pick?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Rivas by decision.
Wow, you're annoying.
Get it? I think he's gonna get it by decision. But I tell you what, I got a big upset in this next one. Calling two upsets. I'm going with Jared Cannonier over Dominic Reyes, your boy. I know I usually do like the BJJ guy, but I think Cannonier is going to be able to use his striking and boxing. He has a few low kicks with the right foot, not many. He can easily be taken down. He gets back up because he's a big boy. He gets back up, but he can be taken down. I'll give you a couple numbers right here. Kudalaba took him down 6 times. Blakovic took him down 4 times. And Teixeira took him down 3 times. So again,
took down who?
Cannonier? Took down Cannonier. So that's my concern with him in this fight. But he's got good boxing, a good overhand right. His right hand is like it's lethal. You know what I mean? If he connects, he's gonna knock you out. And in Dominic Reyes, he's 2-0 in the UFC. Lefty striker, ground game is legit, so you can talk to that. He can get a sub. So I'm just gonna finish my prediction and then throw it over to you. DraftKings, Reyes is definitely a play in GPPs because he can get that submission. I think Cannonier is also a play in GPPs because he can get you that KO, TKO. Cannonier is a little bit older. He's actually a little bit shorter. So that uppercut he may be needed here. He's actually 5'11". Reyes is 6'4", but they have the same
Holy
reach.
Shit.
Yeah, it's a big difference. It's 5 inches in height. But he's big and he's thick and has good boxing. So I think it's good when it comes to Reyes and Cannonier. I think it's good that Cannonier is a shorter guy. I think it'll be more difficult for Reyes to really get underneath him and get a takedown. And I think that Cannonier would be smart early in the fight to push the bigger guy up against the cage, get a little bit of some elbows working up against the cage, some of that dirty inside boxing, maybe some of that tie clinch, push him against the fence, rough him up a little bit, and then keep him on his feet. If it stays on his feet, I think Cannonier gets the win here.
No, man. I'm going to go the opposite way on that because Dominic Reyes, I'm not even talking about his jiu-jitsu right now. I mean, Jared Cannonier, obviously didn't even know you fucking existed. My man, you're probably a cool dude. I saw you talk shit on Dominic Reyes saying you're going to knock him out. I guess that for you to say that and, for him to say that, period, shows you exactly where his head is at and where he's going to come in with this fight. He's going to come in trying to knock someone the fuck out, which is going to get him in trouble. But the reason why I say Dominic Reyes is going to win is because they might have the same reach, but when we're talking about height-wise, it's where the kicks start to matter. So with this being said, Dominic Reyes keeps the distance with his kicks. See if he doesn't try to finish it with a head kick, honestly. I don't think he's even going to try to take him down. Honestly, the person who I think is going to try to go for the takedown, to be completely honest, is Jared, because he's the smaller guy. So how do you close the distance on a taller guy? You have to get on in there. You have to throw 1-2, try the takedown. Or, like you said, get him up against the fence. But in my opinion, Jared, like you said, he has the strong overhand, which everyone in, I guess, the UFC seems to develop one time or another. But Dominic Reyes is the well-rounded fighter here, and that's the reason why I think he wins.
What round? I'm going Cannonier KO first round.
Wow, you're a really sick fuck. So I'm just gonna match you then. I'm just gonna go Dominic Reyes first round knockout.
Knockout, huh?
Yeah.
No sub, okay. All right, so I don't know if you've seen any of the shit talking going on Twitter today, but Alexa Grasso and Tatiana Suarez. Did you see any of it?
No, actually, please fill me in. I was gonna ask you that because today I had a pretty rough schedule. I was training all over the place. Had a bunch of wrestling and jiu-jitsu on my schedule today. So shout out to my coaches. You guys are the best. But I missed a little bit of that. So please fill me in.
Suarez basically went up to minus 700 today.
Holy fuck.
Minus 700. She opened at minus 110. That was the opening line. Just looking at the odds right here. I guess that was 2 days ago. These odds opened up 2 days ago, and Suarez was minus 110, which is a great line if you could have jumped on it. I love Suarez, but I would never put $700 to win $100 on top.
Never in your life.
Never. So again, she's a two-time high school wrestling champ, 2007, 2008.
Awesome. Great.
She actually had thyroid cancer, which ruined her Olympic. She was poised to make the Olympics, and it kind of ruined her Olympic run. Now again, if you watch her on film, she's a beast. She will throw anybody around. So I think that she's going to basically throw Alexa Grasso around, very much the way that Felice Herrig was able to throw her around. So again, she got outstruck by Felice and basically just took her down a bunch of times. And I basically think that that's what Tatiana Suarez is going to do. So I can see this being a decision. She may get a ground and pound victory. Don't get me wrong, that's not out of the realm of possibilities. But I think Tatiana Suarez by decision with I'm talking 6, 7, 8 takedowns is a very possible outcome in this fight. So on Draftkings, where you get 5 points a takedown, I'm telling you could be looking at 35, 40 points just on takedowns. And then once she gets down on the ground, I think she can do a little bit more work when it comes to the ground and pound. I think she can get more significant strikes off. But for the most part, she was actually the tough 23 winner. She's a great grappler. I don't see Grasso being able to keep it on the feet and outstriking her. So, she's tough, but
so from what it sounds like to me, you're saying that Alexa Grasso is the better striker, but Tatiana Suarez is just the better, stronger fighter who's just gonna dominate. Pretty much is what you're saying.
I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. Don't quote me on Grasso. She's a good striker. Is she the better striker? I don't know. Because again, Felice Herrig, don't get me wrong, she's a good striker, but she's not the best of strikers, and she outstruck Alexa Grasso. You know what I mean? Alexa Grasso was actually a minus 350. I watched that fight and I was shocked by the price. The closing price on Alexa Grasso was minus 315. He was a minus 315 favorite against Felice Herrig and lost that fight.
Yeah, in my opinion, just off the fact, I was looking at Tatiana Suarez right now, and I think you're right, man. Suarez here is just the outright better wrestler. And in my opinion, these days, being a better wrestler and sometimes in a fight, even if you don't know anything else, just being able to take someone down to the ground, pin them, hold them down, and you punch them whenever you want and how you want, is going to end up, you being the victor. Look at, greats like Ben Askren, great wrestlers, Kamaru Usman, who's also on this card. These wrestlers and these guys, Khabib, come on, dude. the list goes on of great wrestlers and how they dominate and how they use their wrestling to dominate these fighters, and take it to the ground whenever they say so. So Tatiana Grasso literally fits in that category as another great wrestler who's probably who you're right, who's probably going to take this fight to the ground a bunch of times. I got if you ask me over under 8, I'd say over for sure, because she's just going to try to take it down as many times as possible and just try to literally dominate Alexa Grasso, because that's just what wrestlers do, man. They're bears. So that's the way I see it. I see Tatiana Suarez winning by decision, unanimous.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a unanimous decision. I'll even take it a step further. We talked about some prop bets. I think Suarez by decision. I think over 2.5 is another way that you can play that. You may get a better line at over 2.5 rather than Suarez by decision, but I think it's going to be Suarez by decision. And if she doesn't get, we're throwing out these big numbers and takedowns. If she doesn't get 8 takedowns, the only reason is because Grasso isn't able to get up. So if you don't get, if you only get 1 or 2 takedowns, you know what I'm saying, though? You're going to get the significant strikes, especially from a Draftkings perspective. In a cash game, you want those points. You're going to get the significant strikes because she's not able to get back up. So, if there's only 4 takedowns, it's more or less because she wasn't able to get back up, which I wouldn't be surprised with either. But at 9.3K, I'm pretty sure I'm going to put her in my cash game.
Yeah, but the big difference will be coming, and you can see it in the stat box. Mark my words, will be in that little stat box in the UFC when they show the fights and how they score it, is time of control, which is pretty much how much time one fighter was in control of the other or in a dominant position. And Tatiana Suarez will be in control a majority of the time in this fight, and that's the reason why she wins unanimously. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. So let's get to this last fight, and I'm going to throw it off to you. Before we start, I'm just going to say that Kamaru Usman is the biggest favorite on DraftKings at 9.5K.
Oh, no, 100%, man. 100%. I mean, dude, I'm sorry. I have to cut you off. I mean, because if you saw the podcast last week, if you followed anything of what I talked about last week, then you know that I'm a jiu-jitsu freaking nut. Like, everyone calls me a nut hugger. Steve called me a nut hugger. And honestly, dude, I even mentioned Damian Maia last week when I was talking about Jacare, and I put up all the greats in jiu-jitsu in Brazil, and Damian Maia literally is one of those. He is a legend. Besides Royce and obviously the Gracies back in UFC 1, 2, 3 and all that, and Henzo and all of them, Damian Maia is a staple in the UFC for jiu-jitsu. He's one of those fighters that he's not going to wow you with his striking. He will never wow you with his striking. He's not an Anderson Silva or any of those guys when it comes to striking. But over the years and in his old age, what he has shown is that the dude's a bad motherfucker because he's quiet, barely says a word, but he's a killer. Goes in there and he still wants to fight, and he's still out there trying to prove and trying to still get a title shot, man, even in his old age. And he's the type of fighter that he's not going to go out there and show you, hey, I've been working on a new kick. No, I'm Damian Maia. My head movement got a little bit better, but guess where I want to win? It's on the ground, choking you out or breaking your fucking arm. And when he gets a hold of you, it's otherworldly when he gets a hold of you in his hands and his grip and his game. And if he gets to your back, it's literally like almost a 99% like finish rate if he's on your back. Kamaru Usman, though, that's just another fucking tank of a person. So why don't you fill me in on him?
Yeah, for the most part, I agree with everything that you said about Damian Maia. I just don't think it's good enough.
Oh, no, he's got dude, honestly, I love him to death, man, but dude, Kamaru Usman is just a scary human being, man. Like, if you just put these two guys next to each other, it's almost like you just have to go, yeah, that black guy's gonna fucking kill him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a bigger matchup. Kamaru Usman's younger. He's hungry. Damian Maia might still be hungry, but I almost see it like Vitor last week. He's not gonna get destroyed like that, but Damian Maia is just out here still fighting, man. And if he loses this fight, he's just gonna go on to be a gatekeeper. Then after that, then who knows? You just fade away. But he's one of those legends in the game that, Damian Maia will always have a fight. Dana, I feel like no matter what, Damian Maia is a guy you always have to give him a fight because he represents jiu-jitsu so well. and to the jiu-jitsu community, he's a staple, and he's a big part of the UFC. Like Damian Maia not in the UFC is weird. It's like not having Forrest Griffin in the UFC. It just doesn't make sense. So I mean, it's good for ratings, whatever. That's probably why the Chile card is really, really important, because before this, I mean, it was Kamaru Usman and Santiago Ponzinibbio, who honestly, yes, which honestly, it really wasn't even that crazy of a pull. The only reason it was an important fight was because Kamaru Usman hasn't fought in like a year or 2 years. It feels like forever. So now with Damian Maia on the card, it makes it a little bit, excuse me. It's out there a little bit more, and the people know about it more because Damian Maia is a legend. So more people are tuning in now. Before that, Santiago Ponzinibbio, the only reason you're tuning into him is because he's from Argentina. He talks a lot of shit. Kamaru Usman was talking a lot of shit about being so dominant. And Santiago is also another dude who's he looks like a walking roid. I'm not saying he is on any roids, but he's just a gigantic he's a gigantic human. So that would have been a good fight, but obviously he's not here. Damian Maia is here, and I'm praying to the jiu-jitsu gods that he can choke this guy out, but I really don't see it that way. So yeah, let me know. I talked enough.
No, I think you're on the money with a lot of this stuff, but I think it's also a very scary fight for Usman. And again, if you go back and you watch the Damian Maia Colby Covington fight, Covington is a wrestler, just like Usman's a wrestler. The difference is Covington uses his wrestling when he needs to. Usman uses his wrestling all the time. And as a wrestler, when you go in for those takedowns, you're putting your neck down. You're giving him your neck. So how many times is he going to be able to get that takedown in the first round? And when he gets that takedown and attacks Maia's hips in the first round, this is what I think. Maia usually goes after your legs, right? He usually goes after a single leg or a double leg. I believe he shot like 22 times when he fought against Tyron Woodley. When he fight Tyron Woodley, I believe he shot on Tyron like 22 times. Tyron was a wrestler, wanted nothing to do with the ground. Colby Covington, wrestler, wanted nothing to do with the ground. Is Usman gonna go to the ground with Damian Maia?
No,
because he's a wrestler.
Nope.
Well, if that's the case, is his striking good enough? Because we all doubted Colby Covington's striking, and Usman actually made fun of Colby Covington, right? At the press conference in Brooklyn about his striking, that Damian Maia at times got the better of him in his striking. But not for nothing, is Usman that much better? Is he really going to outstrike Damian Maia and not wrestle with him? Because every time you watch Usman fight, he's fighting and he's wrestling and he's going to decision. So how is this fight going to be any different? I think this is a dangerous fight for Usman, because I think if he doesn't have success early with his striking and he tries to resort to wrestling before Maia gets tired, and Maia will get tired. There's going to come a point in the second round where Maia will get tired. I think he's gonna shoot for a takedown, and he's leaving his neck exposed. It may only happen once, but it may happen twice. But if Maia can get a hold of his neck, he can finish this fight. What do you think about that?
In my opinion, it's all right. Here's the thing about Damian Maia. The way that nobody wants to go to the ground with Khabib, because the way that Khabib literally dominates you and doesn't let you up and can literally talk to you while he's punching your face and letting you know how dominant he is in you, is literally the same way that Damian Maia, when you go to the ground with Damian Maia, you do not want to be on the ground with Damian Maia. It's not a good day for you. It's not comfortable. You hate every second of it, and you really wish you weren't there. And the reason why all of these great wrestlers don't want to go to the ground with Damian Maia, and they rather stick their chins up in the air and go at it with some shitty-ass, mediocre striking sometimes. Like you're saying, Colby Covington was being made fun of because of his striking. And most of these wrestlers, I mean, Tyron Woodley, let's be honest with you, he's a decent striker, but if it wasn't for the fact that when he touches you, he can kill you, Tyron Woodley would just be an average striker. It just so happens that he's really, really powerful when he throws that hand. So in my opinion, Kamaru Usman has the same thing with Damian Maia. Damian Maia is a good striker. He really is. He might actually even be a better striker than Colby. You know what I'm saying? But what's the difference? Colby probably hits a little bit harder. Colby probably, when he hits you, you probably really feel it. And that's because he's a lot younger than Damian Maia. Damian Maia is just now coming into his striking now at this old age, where his jiu-jitsu with old age literally just gets better like fine wine. If you want to go with jiu-jitsu, the dude will never get tired on the ground. But what gets you tired? Striking, throwing punches and kicks and stuff like that. And that's where I think Damian Maia might get tripped up, is the fact that Damian Maia might hit Kamaru Usman a lot more. I guarantee you that. But Kamaru Usman is going to expect Damian Maia to throw the 1-2 leg kick and then shoot. 1-2 leg kick and then shoot. And in my opinion, his wrestling is only going to be used for that, to defend the takedown. Just like every other wrestler has done to Damian. They just defend the takedown and they try to knock him out. They never really ever try to get into on the ground with him. Why do you think that is? Because no one's going to out-grapple Damian fucking Maia. Are you fucking insane? No one's going to do that. No one is going to do that. No one's going to do that unless you're literally at his level, which, in my opinion, no one in the UFC at this moment is. And that's him being at the age that he is. Now, Damian Maia from 10 years ago, because Damian Maia from 10 years ago's jiu-jitsu will fucking rip your head off. Now, it's just, it's like fine wine, man, that's jiu-jitsu. But his striking, that's still new. His head movement has gotten better. He does use his striking a lot more. But even years ago, when Damian Maia was first really fighting in the UFC, and, I mean, people used to laugh at his striking. It was literally like, you don't go to the ground with Damian Maia and you're okay. Because all you have to do is touch him on the chin and he'll go away, or, you know what I'm saying? He really can't beat you up with his hands. He doesn't hit hard enough. He doesn't have enough power behind that. And, it only takes one in the UFC. But Kamaru Usman isn't the type that you can really put him away with just one. And in my opinion, it's going to be a fight that it might be ugly. It might be a grind. So I'm just going to go with Kamaru Usman for decision.
That's the same pick that I'm going is Kamaru Usman by decision. I think it's going to be a grind. I completely agree with you there. I think that if Maia is going to get the sub, it's going to have to be in the first round. So on DraftKings, I think it's a GPP play. I think that everyone's been real smart when they fight Damian Maia, but the guys who have been real smart have been able to outstrike him. I just don't know if Kamaru Usman is going to be able to outstrike him the same way that these other guys did. So I see that this fight could be a little iffy if it gets into the later rounds, especially if Maia has success in the first round and doesn't gas out. So I can guarantee you a couple things. First of all, I'm more or less saying it's going to be a decision fight, so we agree there. The props, I just looked again on the phone. The props are not out yet. So again, over 2.5 is a prop that I'm going to be looking at to see what that price is. I expect it to be like minus 250. So if it's minus 200, minus 250, it's up to you. It may be a parlay piece, but if it's under minus 200, I think it's going to be a play 100%. And then the third thing I could tell you is that Colby Covington 100% will be tweeting during this fight and after the fight, calling Kamaru Usman a bitch and everything else, especially if his striking is not up to par. Because, again, a lot of people criticize Colby Covington for the lack of striking in his fight against Damian Maia.
Well, Colby Covington, number one, is a fraud, man. I mean, everyone in the fucking world can see it. He wears his stupid fucking JCPenney suits, and he talks a bunch of fucking shit. Like, it's annoying, dude. I mean, dude, I heard you're a nice guy, Colby. I don't know why you're acting like a dickhead. You know what I'm saying? But to be completely honest, it's going to be hilarious watching him tweet. I know he's going to tweet a whole lot. But let's be honest with you, man. One last thing about this Damian Maia thing, man, and one thing that you said that I wanted to touch on. I honestly think the way that you said if Damian Maia doesn't gas out, I don't think he's going to gas out. And I honestly think the deeper it goes into the fight, the more trouble Kamaru is in. So I do pick Kamaru for decision just because I think they're going to try to, one's going to try to out-wrestle the other, and they're just going to try to keep each other from going to the ground. Sorry, I don't know. My screen did some funny stuff. But I feel like Kamaru's going to be in a lot of tough spots. And if he doesn't, I do feel, although he's maybe not the better striker, cleaner striker, Kamaru, he does depend on his wrestling a lot. I feel like he does pack more of a punch just because of the size of this guy and because of the age difference and because he's more athletic. He's almost like a Yoel Romero build where he's just freakishly big and athletic. So that's where I see him getting the edge. But I don't think it's going to be a knockout. Might be a couple submission attempts, but I think Kamaru has a big enough head to get out of those guillotine attempts and rear naked chokes, and I think he'll outlast Damian Maia on the points and win by decision. But yeah, fuck you, Kobe. You're weird. Fuck you, Trevor Parker. I haven't heard from you in a couple days. Fuck you if you don't fuck with Jersey. And UFC Chile, I feel like is going to be a great card. One last thing. Who do you think is going to be fighting tonight?
That's a great question. Let me take a quick look real quick before we sign off here.
No look. Who's
no. I just want to see. I just want to see. You know what I think is going to be fighting tonight? I think it's going to be Moreno Pantoja. I looked. It was like one of the first two fights. I think Barzola Davis is going to be a real good fight. That's on the other card. I know you're a big fan of Davis, although I'm picking Barzola in that fight. And Moreno Pantoja, it's actually a rematch. But I really like Moreno. I'm a big fan of Moreno. I really like the way that he fights.
You want to know a secret? Who I think is going to be fighting tonight?
Yeah.
And you're not even going to like it, man. You're going to be like, what the fuck? I think it's going to be Laprise and Luque.
When Luque, you know what? It may be fighting tonight when Luque gets that late second round knockout.
Chad Laprise and Vince Luque. It might be a fucking bloodbath. We both might be wrong and it goes to decision, but who knows? Because those guys are going to come out like fucking animals.
I don't think it's going to decision. I think he's going to get him out of it in the second round. I put it on Twitter during the week. And that's the other thing, too. I'm very open on Twitter. I answer everything on Twitter. I know Drew does, too. He'll probably curse at you. All right? Jiu Jitsu Drew will curse at you on Twitter. He'll do everything.
Yeah, I'm vulgar, man. But remember, it's all from the heart, and your feelings really mean to me. So, you know, it's
what it is.
It is what it is. But really, man, it all comes from a good place. We all mean well. We love the UFC, and we're just out here talking shit. So subscribe, hit that like button, and if not, just fuck off. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do here in Jersey. Steve, I'm signing out. Jiu Jitsu Drew.